So we'll be conducting business as we normally do at our board meetings. But following the business, and when we've concluded with the business, we'll take some questions or comments from the floor. But so let's, why don't we, I'm gonna make a motion, can we, call the meeting, convene the meeting?
Yes.
Okay, the meeting is convened. The first order of business is a review and acceptance of the minutes of the last meeting. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a
Motion to approve.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, very good. The last minutes of the last meeting have been approved. Next on the agenda is our treasurer's report. Bill?
This will be a short report. We have no money left in the HOA.
Okay, I'm packing up.
Okay,
Bill went on a big vacation.
yeah. All right, let's take this off. As of July 31st, balance sheet and income report, our operating account had $469,195. Our long-term reserve funds at $4,143,365. Our new buyer capital improvement fee has $610,520. Our total long-term reserves sit at $4,753,885. Our HOA building maintenance facility, we have basically $8,000 left for that. So the building is just about paid for. Our total reserves is $4,761,834, and our total operating cash and reserves is $5,231,029. Our reserve transfer was processed as budgeted for the month. The operating report, large line item budget variances are mostly related to timing of expenses. Overall, we are still on target to achieve budget. At the end of the August financial report, which will be the beginning of December, we'll develop a full year forecast versus budget to see where we actually stand by line item. A report on our investments. Our bank United Money Market account is earning 4.5% interest, and we have 30% of our portfolio in that account. Our Fidelity Money Market account, which is U.S. Treasuries, is at 5.2%, and it's state tax exempt. We have 70% of our portfolio in there. So overall, the weighted average of our investment portfolio, we're earning 5%. Okay, I know there's a question about rates going down and all that stuff, and should we lock it in longer term? You know, the 6-month and 12-month treasuries are at around 5%, the 6 and 12-month CDs are about 4.7. We're gonna continue, the recommendation is to continue in short-term money market strategy, because we're gonna need the funds for deposits and payments in the fourth quarter of this year and into 24 for roofs and painting projects. In the September-October timeframe, I'm going to meet with Bank United to discuss a line of credit to help bridge us on the roofing and painting projects. And the last item is the 2025 budget process and timeline, which will follow similar as last year. We're going to start working on the budget in September. The Budget and Finance Committee will review the draft budget the week of October 7th, and the board review and approval of the budget will be at the October 14th board meeting. Any questions from the board?
There's a beeping somewhere.
Any questions?
Okay.
All right, thank you, Bill. Okay, this is the President's report, my report. I'm going to open my comments with the latest status of our long-awaited opening of our resident facility and office building. After years of delays, permitting process, exacerbated by the COVID era, we can finally see an end in sight. I'm pretty confident saying that by mid-September, the building will be completely opened and operational. Last month, I reported that the water services of the building was completed and operational, and that National Grid's gas line to the building had been installed. The next step was a pressure test of that line, and for that, you needed the town inspector to witness the test. It took weeks to get the town inspector to the site to witness the test because they have a huge backlog in the town. But finally, last week, the inspector was on site, the test was performed, we passed the test, and National Grid has been advised, excuse me, and the next step is for them to install the meter, and we can connect all the gas lines in the building as we need. We need the gas only for the heating system. We're now working on completing a whole list of punch list items, and the building was very active last week. The AC unit is operating. We're limiting the operations to the conference room and the hallways. So the building is now cooler than it was before during the heat. The bathrooms are working. We have hot water, cold water. Toilets are working. Last week, we installed the partition, the movable partition that separates the big conference room into two conference rooms so that we could accommodate club board meetings or whatever. Give us more flexibility in how we use the big room. The breakout room is about complete. The sinks are in, the refrigerator is installed, even the ice maker is installed. What I'm trying to say is the building's ready to go, okay? And for that reason, we've reached out, our contractors reached out, and we have a commitment from the town building department to inspect the facility on August 28th. So this is a huge step, okay? We want to make sure everything's in place and the town is happy with everything they see. Oh, by the way, I left out the handicap doors. The handicap doors at the main entrance are now workable. You know, you push a button, doors open. The outside door and the inside door. So everything is pretty much completed. Lighting's in, furniture is sitting there ready to be placed in the various rooms. I want to talk about the parking lot. One of the things we want to do is pave the parking lot. Now, the whole area, this area that we share with the golf shed, there's a golf shed there at the western end of the parking area, which has all the equipment needed to maintain the golf course. That whole property is split 50-50, okay? And there's an easement for us to go on the golf shed side and the golf shed to go on our side. Though practically speaking, there's no reason for any of us to do that. There's adequate space for us on our side and adequate space for the golf shed on their side. Their side parking area is a lot smaller than ours because the golf shed itself takes up so much of that property. We have designed and installing the entrance, the egress and ingress to the parking lot for our residents next to the office building. And we are going to make it clear to all our residents that that's the way they're to go into the parking lot, and that's the way they're going to exit. I'm not happy with the safety, with the safety layout for the parking area, the parking egress and ingress next to the golf shed. So there'll be more use of that parking lot when we open our building. And I want to impress all of our residents to use our entrance and exit into the parking area. You see, we put up a sign with red blinking lights, a stop sign. We're serious about managing that egress and ingress in a very, very safety way. We've been talking about beautifying the north area, and I think the north entrance into the community, I think the new building is going to do a lot to beautifying that area. In addition, as I reported last month, we planted and we are continuing to plant in that area to beautify it. And as a matter of fact, there's some more plantings that are planned for the very, very near future. We're committed to beautifying the north area. The last comment I want to make about beautification is on two fronts. We've been communicating with PSE&G about doing something with their substation. We can't block out the use, the whole look of that substation. It just is too high. But there's a fence that you can see right through. And through two ways, we've been talking to PSE&G. One is through our legislator, and the other one is through one of our board members, about putting in that green mesh, that wire mesh, to block out the look, at least up to the top of the fence, of that industrial-looking area. And that PSE&G basically has indicated they're going to do it. They're getting their budget. They're getting ready to go. But we have two lines of operation to get that done. One is through our local legislator, Jason Richburg, who's already been in communication with PSE&G, and the other one is Bill Mullins, who has talked to one of the supervisors over there. So we'll get that done. The last thing I want to mention is we are serious about starting the roof project, physically starting the roof project in March. I reported this last month as well, and our property manager, Frank Neves, will report on the status of lining up the engineer who will design the roof project, a color consultant who will work on the colors, and putting together an RFP for the roofing contractors to bid on. We need to get the roofing contract placed sometime in late December, okay, just in order to facilitate the start of the physical work in March. That's my report. And I will now turn it over to our property manager for his report, unless there's, well, if there are any questions, please hold them off until the end of the meeting. Are there any questions from the board? Okay. Frank?
As I usually start off, work orders for the month of July, we had volume 413 work orders for the month. Out of those, 356 were completed. The balance is due to landscaping and some other minor work that needs to be done that will be addressed within the month of August. We have land inserts that we've had this project going on since June. Our contractor was to be indicated that he would complete it in the month of August. Unfortunately, with the massive rainfall that we had almost every day last week, he's delayed a little bit, so we're looking more at the first week of September. But I think it's a lot of homeowners have reached out and said that it looks aesthetically pleasing and also lit up the areas a lot better. So we'll continue with that project. The trash area, we're looking at, we've had complaints about how the trash area looks. We power wash 4 times a year. But within weeks of after power washing, the area, the flooring, the grease and such stands out. Last week I had, we picked one specific area to do a flooring and painting. Painting that area, which is in Savoy, along Savoy, was painted last Saturday, I believe.
It looks really good.
Pardon?
It looks really good.
It looks color. And the flooring will be, we're going to do only one for now. Why we do this is we want to see how this new bit, what is it, like a cement base that goes over it. It's rough, so it's not slippery, and it's a dark color. So we're doing one trash area to see how it handles the weather. And next spring, summer, if it seems to have held up well, then we'll talk about continuing it throughout every other trash area. There's a total of 11. We picked this particular area because it's the most exposed to elements. We have a drain in the front. Water sometimes pools in that area in the winter. So if it's going to work, it'll work. If it works there, it's going to work in the rest of the trash area.
When is they gonna do the flooring?
They're starting on Thursday morning. It's going to take about 2 days to complete. He power washes, lets that dry. He comes in and he does the application. and then he lets that dry. So Saturday morning, we'll be opening up that stretch out. So we'll see.
Great.
I just want to bring this up, only because we've had some email communications about contractors' times and when they are required to do the work, which is 8 to 5. Usually what we ask them to do is at 4 o'clock, they should stop and they should proceed with their cleanup. What we do is we have approximately in the last 4 or 5 months, we've had about over 100 homeowners who put in this application. So it is an alteration agreement that they have to fill out. And on the first page, it's specifically, and it's highlighted, it specifically states the time of when they're supposed to start and when they're supposed to end. And I'm bringing it up in this meeting only because it was suggested that we send an email blast. I thought it better instead of an email blast that we put it in the minutes so that when all the homeowners read it, it's the first line item that they'll see from, or a few line items later from my report indicating that we do not allow any work before or after. And if there is a contractor who is working prior or after, if the homeowner reports it, then we reach out to the homeowner, not the contractor, we reach out to the homeowner and potential fines may be received if it continues. So I just wanted to bring that up. Continuing, seal coating, we've done approximately, we started approximately 36 floods, which is an annual preventative maintenance program that we have. We started today with about 18, and on Wednesday, the other 18. So that's every year. So by the end of this week, we should complete it with that program. Bob brought up about the engineering, where we are with the engineering. We've had 2 engineers that are
The roof project.
the roof project, for the roof project. We've had 2 that have submitted and reached out to about 11. About 7 of them have now responded. We had 3 that indicated that they're right now they're overbooked and cannot conform to our guidelines, getting everything done by September. So what we have is we have these contractors, we're talking to them, the engineers are talking to them. We're also talking to a color consultant from Stucco. We're looking to do renditions from this person who will suggest color schemes between the rooftop, the roof shingles and the actual villas, which is surrounded by stucco, and the quads, which is stucco surrounded. Stucco's in the front of the quads. We're going to put up boards so that homeowners can see it. Come to the HOA office. We're looking to get an RFP out by September, October, reviewed by the board for proceeding with whatever contract we picked for this work, and then have it signed off by either December or January to start the work in either March, weather permitting, or April of next year. March of next
Not
year.
April. He has spoken.
In addition, and the refuge, we received proposals for the refuge. To the committee that has been working on this, I'll be sending out an email to that committee so we can review it, discuss it, and present it to the board within the next few weeks. We're looking at an increase coming up for the coming year. Now, please bear in mind that we reported on this on a number of occasions that the contract ended at the end of June, but we got an extension for 2 months, so we're at the same rate for those 2 months. And that's my report.
Okay. Did anybody on the board have any questions?
Yeah,
Okay.
Frank,
Yeah, wait.
Frank, you might want to point out that we have no control over the.
Harry, push the mic closer to you.
You might want to bring up that we have no control over the golf course. They start much earlier. And I know homeowners have started to complain about it. But we have no control over that.
Yeah, we have no control over the times, that the golf course starts, they get their blowers and their mowers done.
Yeah, because they have to get ready by 8 o'clock.
And the contractors who I'm talking about, we're in control are the ones that
I know.
are running it.
Unless, of course, it's an emergency and they have to be here. Yes, or early.
Oh, of course.
Okay, now, we're up to committee reports. First committee report is A&A.
Hopefully my voice will come across. Can you all hear me in the back? Okay. This season, our AA committee has started a berm beautification program. This will continue over the next 3 years. We're also encouraging homeowners to adopt a berm or a cul-de-sac with spring or summer flowers, all with the approval of the AA committee, by sending your request to the HOA office. Okay. Yeah. The extremely overgrown berms, there are approximately 14 that we have counted so far, are going to be thinned out and removing overgrown shrubs that are taking over the area this winter. With our beautification program, we're in the process of redoing the North Gate and are asking the board to vote on the last area that is to be redone, the guard booth area and the middle island, so that the entire area conforms to the HOA building. The shrubs and plants that are there will be moved to areas within the community. I would like to make a motion to approve the second stage of the North Gate beautification program at a cost of $13,000. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I second it.
We have a vote, any discussion?
Yeah, discussion.
Yeah.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is this coming out of your budget?
Yes, it is.
And Harry,
Yes.
and it includes,
You need the microphone.
thanks, it includes, the manner of watering everything that's put in, correct?
Yes. The sprinklers are there, so we don't have that much of a problem.
One of the things I should have mentioned on the building, the irrigation system that was installed some time ago is functional for that whole area. Okay. Any other comments?
We take a vote?
Sure. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The contract's been approved.
Currently, the AA committee is getting calls, we've got, and the office has been getting calls about our grass. First, we have nut grass. This is not a grass, but a weed. It's spreading rapidly, primarily because it thrives in wet or poorly drained soil. Hand removal is not a method of removing, as it encourages the underground nutlets to generate growth. We've contacted Montrose to try to eliminate this problem. Our second problem is the bend grass. This is the choice of golf course. And it's the best grass to be used for putting greens and tee boxes. Unfortunately, we all live, or fortunately, we all live on a golf course. This grass spreads very quickly, it's controlled, it's very difficult. Montrose is under the auspices that they can take care of it and treat it with a herbicide. Last June and July, we seeded bare spots in some areas side. With little rain and the heat, these areas that we did burned out. We are going to once again seed and sod in the fall and in the next spring. We will do it again where needed. Tree trimming will take place in the fall and winter, October through January. At the same time, the tree trimmers will assess what trees need to be removed. This October, the A&A Budget Committee will meet to set up our goals for the planting season. Once we present our budget to Budget and Finance, they will put it as part of the Greens overall budget, which we voted on by the board. Occasionally, we do get some surprises over the winter that we have no control over, and our plans do become not handled. One of the biggest surprises that we had this year was our sprinkler system, which is over 20 years old. Lines have been restricted by tree roots, which Frank showed the board last month. We've also had heads and timers that are failing. We are working diligently on this and ask homeowners if they see burned out areas to please call the HOA office. That's it.
I have a question.
Yes.
What are we doing, if anything, about the lantern flies?
What?
The lantern flies. I mean, I try to kill at least 2 or 3 every day that I see them, but they're everywhere.
They're all,
And what are we doing about it?
we're killing them. Frank?
There's someone in our office that her husband works in the parks department, he's a supervisor in several areas. They have them as well, and I asked her to ask him, what are they doing about it? Is there an herbicide or some type of application that they're using? They said they can't use anything, because they're so spread out, just like the greens,
Yeah.
that you could hit one area, you know, for example, we could hit all of the greens, but if we're not hitting the northern state or our neighboring communities, we're not doing anything. So it's just a matter of reporting it to the local officials, and as we've been asked to do, and hope that it doesn't extend as far as it has.
I would hope that everybody out here knows about these lantern flies, which are extremely everywhere and dangerous to our vegetation. So anytime you see one, try to kill it.
You know, we're having not just the greens, it's all over.
I know that. I know
And by the way, that nutgrass, I've seen it at the office buildings on Route 110. That nutgrass is all over as well. So we're just facing a challenge that's facing the entire community outside the greens as well as inside the greens. All of Long Island and elsewhere. Okay, any other comments, Dana? Okay, next is traffic and safety.
Hello, my name is Steve Ellish. Traffic and safety, Steve Joseph.
Can't hear you, Steve.
Can't hear
Hear
you.
me? Hear me now? I'll put it right up here.
Better.
Okay, first of all, stop sign in Boston continues. Very, very important to the community because our walkers in the streets and bicycles and everything else. We took over 100 videos last, and we find that most people are actually still rolling past the stop sign. Most of the 120 did roll past the stop signs. Out of 120, 20 cars blew the stop sign altogether. Those cars will receive fines. And they will go out, shortly this week. Okay, moving on. We have speed cameras or signs, as you notice on our Tesla, 2 of them, and one on Verona. And we do monitor the speed of cars in these areas. And believe it or not, we have found that in tracking these cars, most of them adhere to our speed limit, which I get a lot of calls about speeders, but outside of these signs, I don't know what the cars are doing. Between our speed humps and speed bumps rather, and speed tables, I don't know how fast these cars are going. But we do know, we have an idea that the cars approaching these particular areas and speed signs, they're adhering to the speed limit. And if you have any problems, you always contact us on a particular car or area that you see is at. Going on, each of us at the beginning, a lot of us received green stickers for the greens. We are requesting that you people, that everybody remove these stickers. You don't want to advertise that you live at the Greens. And those are the little green stickers that they received out of the packets when you originally moved in. We suggest that you do take them off your cards as soon as possible. It's easy, just scrape them right off. Moving on, we are looking still to get our reflectors embedded into our speed tables, and I hope that it can be done in the next couple of weeks, right? This would help us to see these speed tables on Altessa. We have put 4, 5, or 6, we're not sure, of these reflectors in each of these speed tables. Give us just better visibility. And that's about it. Traffic and safety, anybody have any questions on the panel?
Any questions from the board? Okay, thank you, Steve. Next item on our agenda is legal, which is mostly relative to our insurance program.
Actually, we're doing great on claims. We've gotten them down to 2 out of 6. They've all been settled, the other 4, and we now have been in touch with the broker, and we are starting to work on the renewal process. Our policy renew October 20th, all of them. So we don't have any information as yet, and we hope that the market will allow us not to have huge increases this year as we did last year. And we'll keep you informed as we find out.
Thank you, Ruth. We're up to old business. Steve Swirsky brought up the trash areas. Steve, any comments?
No, I like the color.
You're the microphone.
You just hope with the improvements, people are gonna use the trash areas and not throw things on the floor, things like that. And have more respect for the areas.
Or on top of the cans.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, throw the garbage in the cans, not on the cans.
Okay. New business, somebody added name of the building contest?
I did.
Okay, Harry.
At one point, we named the
Like at the Greens.
the Life at the Greens to a contest with a prize to the person who got the winning. I suggest that we do the same thing for naming the building.
That's fine.
Okay?
I don't think we have to vote on that. That's-
No.
Yeah.
But I think that what we should do, put something out, letting the community know that this is what we're planning to do.
Yeah, as soon as we have a firm date on the opening, we can plan a ribbon cutting. The politicians know us, and I have to tell you, I have to thank the men's club. I mean, a little off the agenda here. I have to thank the men's club for arranging this past Wednesday, 3 of our local politicians. Mario Matera, who is our state senator, Steve Stern, who is our state assemblyman, and Jason Richburg, who is our Suffolk County legislator and minority leader in the Suffolk County legislature. And they were at the men's club, and it was, I'm not going to mention party affiliations, I can just tell you that they were from the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. Didn't make a difference which party they were with. They were there representing issues that are important to the Greens, and they were terrific. And they've opened up their offices for us. If we need any help from them, they're there to help. So I just wanted to mention that. I'd like to invite them once we have the ribbon cutting date set, we have the office ready to go, it is going, it's operational. We will invite those 3, plus Town Hall, Ed Smith, plus our congressman in Washington, whoever that is, at the time, and we're gonna have a nice ribbon cutting. We had a very nice squiggle week when we broke ground.
Yes.
Okay, we had a very good turnout from our local politicians, and it's wonderful to see how they interface with each other without any regard to what party affiliation. They all work together for our benefit, and I thank them all for that.
So let me get this straight. How are we running this contest?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you happy now?
Yeah,
We'll have the
Oh, okay.
office send it out.
we'll have the office send it out. I have a question, Bob.
Yeah.
About what you just said. Can we get the town or whoever these politicians are to cut back the vines that are hanging over the green fence at the STP, which makes it look absolutely disgusting as we come out?
Yes, we can certainly go to our political contacts. You show me what it is, I will ask. I don't want to overuse the locals,
But this really is bad.
okay? But if this is something really that has to be done,
Because that fence will eventually come down.
It's county.
okay,
It's by this is the STP fence, facing, Old South Bend.
Yeah, it's county.
Okay. That's Suffolk County Department of Health, the sewer district, and we'll have to check with our legislators. Just put in a request, a very friendly request that they take care of that.
Just to add something to what Bob said about having a ribbon cutting. I am awaiting a CO or a temporary CO so that I can get regular insurance on the building. Right now, it's still on a builder's risk policy, which carries no liability whatsoever on it. So until the point that we have a regular certificate of occupancy and have the insurance in place, there cannot be anything done at that building, unfortunately. It's taking quite a chance, and we don't want to do that.
Well, the building is still covered by the August builders risk policy, right?
No.
What was extended to the end of August?
A builder's risk policy.
Well, that's it.
It's not all risk. It has no liability.
That's the builder's risk policy.
It has no liability ever.
Okay, the 2025 budget, who put that on the agenda?
I covered Bill.
Okay, so that was covered, you discussed that. And we also discussed the Northgate landscaping. So I think we concluded the business of the board, unless any board member has any comments or any additions they'd like to make.
How much?
Okay.
I don't know when they're on the schedule, but we have asked, the brokers, which is Sterling Risk, to come and give, especially new residents, education on what kind of coverage they need. We did this years ago, and this auditorium was full. Hopefully that will happen again soon. We'll get a date and we'll let everybody know. But even if you've been here a long time and you wish to attend for a refresher, you definitely can.
Okay, before we open up the floor for any questions or comments, I just want to thank you for coming to the meeting. I'm a little disappointed about those who didn't come, okay? In the days before the pandemic, we used to fill up this room. And it showed that the community was interested in knowing what was happening and wanted to get some input to the board, make some comments so that we can continue to improve upon the life at the Greens. It's so important. Okay, I now want to open up the floor to any questions. Maria, could you?
I just have one more thing to add about the HOA building. I know a lot of the homeowners call, they're curious what it looks like. Once we do open it up and the homeowners can come in, Maria and I have been discussing, in order to prevent the day-to-day operations of the work for these office staff, where homeowners want to come in and look around, what we're going to do is we're going to open up later hours on 2 days a week, and then maybe a Saturday here and there, so that you can come in, you can do a viewing of the interior of the HOA office. We'll do like a 2 hour span, 3 hour span, you can come in and out. I think it would be a nice way of having the homeowner look at the HOA office and see how long we look at this. Okay, thank you.
Why not set up a virtual tour? The real estate agents could help you with that.
All right.
If we're done with conducting the regular business,
Steve
I have a
just made a
motion to
suggestion.
close.
He just made a suggestion.
He made a suggestion about a virtual tour. We can look into
A
it.
virtual tour.
That's a good idea, we can try to do that.
Yeah, the real estate agents do it.
Okay, sounds good to me.
I think we have one or two real estate agents who live here.
Few.
No,
Yeah, I'll be in it.
well, I'm not closing the meeting until we have
The official meeting.
Okay, it's been suggested I close the official meeting, okay, which I'm going to do prior to opening up the floor for questions and answers. Okay, all those in favor of adjourning the official board meeting? Okay, it's been approved. Okay, now we open up the floor for anyone who has some questions or comments.
Hi, as a resident for 21.5 years, I find it very disappointing.
Put the mic right under your mouth.
We can't hear you.
I find it very disappointing with some facts that I'm seeing. Very disturbed with the landscaping, with the same landscaper that I've had for 21.5 years. Frankie and I are in contact all the time. The trees and the shrubs were cut horrendously. It's disgusting. Besides that, I have watched 20 cars speed just on Verona and Verona myself. So you're saying that there's only 20 speeders? I don't find that to be realistic. Number two,
I didn't say there were only 20 speakers.
you said there were 20 going to be fine. You had rollers and you had speeders, okay?
Let's get the total comments in. So far, I'm hearing a response from A&A is necessary, and a response to traffic and safety. So let's get the comments in, and then we'll have the responses.
It seems that the new residents, and we had quite a turnover, are not abiding to a lot of the rules. As far as I know, dogs were not supposed to defecate on the grass. This is constant and ongoing. And I was told they're allowed as long as they clean it up. I had visitors, my niece and nephew were here from Florida. They're 9 and 11 years old, and I got sick when they were walking on the curb because of the thought of what's going on. People are leaving their doors open with their dogs attached and barking consistently, and that should not be. In addition to, we have people putting flags and religious items on their doors, including wreaths, Jewish flags, different kinds of items, Christian statues. This should not be. We're showing a decision in faith. This is a community. This is not a place where we should have anything like this being happening. I had to tell my neighbor to take a Hebrew flag away from a pot that was in front of the house. I called the office today, and I spoke to my friend, and she informed me that's allowed. Since when is that allowed? I was told wreaths and Christmas items and things that show religion are not to be on our doors. But obviously I was told before. In addition, we have a problem with our mailboxes. They need to be painted. We have leaks inside the mailboxes. I have not gotten an answer since the last meeting as who is responsible. You call the post office, they don't know anything. I called the office, and they told me they don't know who takes care of it. Well, somebody should find out. It looks disgusting, and all my mail is wet. Beside that, there should be more fines for the amount of people that I see with dogs and speeders. There has to be more. And all these things should be taken care of. We have another problem, and I've been in touch with the FCC about the towers of Cablevision. But I am working alone on this. I don't have a board back of me. I don't have residents. I have constant complaints of people having problems. I'm on my third carrier, and all the same comes down to when I get to the FCC, it's the towers. We are a big community, and therefore we should have a little strength. As a community, I can tell you 10 of my Marshall players have the same problem. So I don't think these 10 are the only ones. I appreciate the board, I would appreciate the religious ordinance taken down.
Ask
I don't
her.
want
He knows.
flags of different world nations. I don't want to hate Israel. I don't want to hate Italy. I don't want anything like that in our development. This is not my first development. We never allowed this. Never. And I don't think we should now. Not especially in the world where it is. Thank you.
Okay. So what, take the lawn first. The
I didn't hear what the word.
landscapers, you're not happy with the landscape.
Landscape and the trees.
That's Frankie.
If you could let me know what area you're in, I will talk to the landscaper that's responsible for your area. If you're in the quads, I know who to talk to, I'll take care of that tomorrow. We have a meeting with the landscapers at 9:30 in the morning, and we will bring it up, right? The other thing is, as far as the
Religious.
the violations, I'll call them violations. We just are about to put out a violation code book to go out to the community via email. And the rules of what is acceptable and not acceptable. We've started with the American flag recently, and we started,
That's acceptable. The American flag, that's it.
the American flag is the only one that's acceptable, and we did this in conjunction with the veterans group, and we did it in such a way that you now know the way it will be accepted. If it's not done the way the email went out, you'll be asked to remove it. As far as the religious items, we're driving around now, the A&A committee, finding violations. If you would send me the list of the homes, I'll be more than happy to go there, and then you'll help solve our problem. And if you'd like to join our A&A committee, we'd be more than happy to discuss it with you.
Okay, I'll take it. Let me make a couple of comments. Okay, you want to take it?
No, but I have something to say to Harry.
Okay, so say it.
So Harry, I mean, we could do it two ways. We could have the residents call and complain, or we need to get a group, whether it's Frank and the property manager, to scan the whole community and get all of the violations documented. I mean, because other residents are afraid to call on other residents.
I understand that.
Okay, so to me, calling it in is okay, but it's not gonna get to the heart of the issue out there. It's just my feedback on that.
Okay, we are aware of violations. We are aware of violations. Oh,
I was given this information this morning, that residents are allowed to put religious flag on their door.
Not true.
that's not true.
I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying.
Well, then I'm telling you, it has to be corrected. I know it's saying that you can put religious statues or anything on your, the A&A committee is responsible to the board for protecting the look of the greens. Anything that's outside your unit, if you put it inside your window, I'm not sure, that's different.
We can't do
But
anything about it.
anything we can't control what you do inside your unit. But if you hang something outside your unit, the A&A committee is responsible for monitoring and approving what you put outside your unit. And if you're putting violated items outside your unit, you'll have to remove it or you'll be fined. Now, as far as dogs are concerned, we had a problem in the past. I don't know if it's still happening, but we had dog walkers who would pick up the droppings, put them in a bag, that's good, and drop it down the storm sewer, which flows into the Suffolk. Which if the Suffolk County ever came out here and found that, we would have a huge fine. Okay, that is illegal. Okay, in the plan is, and in the budget, once we're in the building, okay, our staff will have it's sort of like a modified golf cart to drive around the community every day to look for violations or look for places that can be improved. We'll be able to improve the monitoring. As far as speed is concerned, we've done it, and people going through stop signs. Right now, the only way we can monitor that and control it is by having a change order with PSA, our security company. They come in with another car with a video machine, and they record at various stop signs, and they record people violating the stop signs. I would like to see, we haven't come up with a budget-effective way of putting cameras up throughout the community, with one that is really working and the others are just phonies.
Bob, we are looking into something like that.
Oh, okay.
The expense, as far as video cameras go, or the type of camera that you would need for speed, is extraordinary. We know the speed tables and the speed pumps do help, but we're a large community with lots of streets and lots of straightaways. We try to limit the speed on the straightaways by the speed tables and the pumps, and we're looking into other methods. So we are not disregarding it at all.
Okay.
We're looking into it.
Okay, good, because right now having one driver, one PSA security guard with a camera, okay, video recording the stop signs, really, it helps us identify specific speed, stop sign violators at a time, but doesn't cover the whole community. If we could have cameras throughout the community, one works and the others don't, and then we move the working camera to different places so nobody knows which one is working, which isn't, I think we would have a better result. Also, as far as speed is concerned, I think putting the radar guns that we have installed that tells you what your speed is has been effective. I think the highest speed we recorded when we first put those radar guns in was something like 60 miles an hour down Altessa. We're seeing a reduction in the speed since we put in these.
Right, that 50 or 60 mile an hour you're talking about was limited to a couple of cars. It wasn't a large number of cars. So, again, where the cameras are now, or the signs, the speed tables are doing their job.
Okay, if you could submit you have to give room some time for other people to talk. So if you give us your whole list to the office, and we'll continue to follow up.
Hello. My name is Joe Matron. I live at home on Fort Madeira. I'm concerned about the height of the grass in the last month or so. See, it's not only the grass that I'm concerned about. My wife walked across the lawn and went to get the mail, and I haven't seen her since Saturday.
Well, Joe,
So is there any schedule for cutting of the grass?
what has happened is because of all the rain last week, we did not do any mowing. Two reasons. One, it would rip the grass out, and second, it would trench the saturated soil. They started mowing this morning, and part of the long grass is the nut grass that you see, which is the weed. That we're trying to get under control. We're mowing the stuff down today. Somebody called the office about all this weeds on their lawn. When I got there, they were all gone because it was mowed. But they do, unfortunately, they do come back, the nut grass. And it's very hard. Once it stops raining and it dries out, they will be gone. And I hope you can find your job.
There's somebody help me find my wife.
Hey, Joe, she left you.
Joe, she's in the pool.
Alright, questions?
Has the board given any consideration to putting in leaf filters when the new roof is put in? Leaf filters on the gutters?
Yes.
Yes, that's gonna be a consideration, absolutely.
Yeah, the roofing program includes the trim and the gutters.
No, the leaf.
You're talking about leaf guards.
Leaf guards,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and then, yes,
We
that's the same thing.
We have it sporadically throughout the community now, in high-density areas, but we are looking at it as part of the roof project. Yes.
There's somebody over there, Danielle?
Okay,
Oh,
I understand the disappointment about the number of people who are here. We give consideration that some of us work full-time and get here at 4 o'clock. It's a little unrealistic. I don't mean to embarrass or say anything to anybody, but I live in this community and I work. I'm in my office at 8:30 at night, and it was 8:30 in the morning until 6 o'clock at night sometimes. I can't use any of the facilities because we seem to be 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning, till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We have an open board meeting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a working day. And no offense, but please, I was as disappointed as you, but who's able to come here at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and to do what it is that people would like us to do? I understand about the speeders. I don't like people who speed in my community. I appreciate that before you spend my money on speed cameras, because that's a big legal problem, and but there are legal courts in here. So before you put up speed cameras, what's the enforcement going to be? What's the violation going to be? How much money do you want to spend to give somebody that day in court? Other than asking people to drive responsibly, I'm hearing about dogs. Dogs go to the big, so do rabbits, so do all the animals around, pick up the poop, we understand that. But if you want input from people, you're gonna have to be more transparent, you're gonna have to be more open. I think an email blasts as opposed to just sending out the minutes. I don't know how many people read the minutes. I think people, the majority of the time, just delete things. So these are just general suggestions. I don't mind coming to the meeting, but I can't always get out at 3 o'clock or 3 in the afternoon to come to the meeting before.
So I
just please consider if we can maybe do something along those lines. I'm not suggesting virtual, but I wouldn't mind coming. But I can't always do it.
So just a comment, we'll obviously take that under consideration.
What happened to those?
It was working right at the beginning. It was working, yeah.
Okay, so I understand the point about working. Just a comment, and we'll take it under consideration. Our June meeting, let me have a microphone, please.
That works.
Give me another one.
Why is that going on? Same old problem.
He's pressing the button.
No, because he's pressing the button.
Our June annual meeting that we publish a month in advance twice a week. And the annual meeting reviewed our financial statement, our long-term plan, roofing, painting projects. We had all sorts of stuff on the agenda. We started it at 6:30 at night. And the same amount of people showed up. Just so you know.
I appreciate it.
I just want you to know that we've tried to get people out. 6:30, then we get people, you know, I'm too old, I can't drive at night, it's too dark. I'm out to dinner, I'm playing cards. I mean, it's hard to try and please everybody. But I just wanted you to know we did try the first week in June, 6:30 at night. No more than this in the crowd.
Okay, this is not a debate. This is.
No, I'm just saying, I
Yeah,
took
I
the
hear you.
feedback.
I just want to make a comment about the dogs and the abuses. I know all the dogs in the Grange, believe me. The abuses are mostly when the grandparents watch the dogs, okay? I can tell you the abuses occur on school vacation time, okay? So that's the problem mostly. We have the dog walkers and sometimes they will pick up also. But I know the dog owners here and they're very careful to try and do the right thing.
You also have the age, Stephen.
The what?
Dogs need to go to the bathroom.
They have to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Did
right.
somebody try?
Hi, I live at 631 Madera. I'm in phase 3. And we recently all just got our insurance bills. I'm in the community 2.5 years and I love it. However, I don't love my insurance bill. When we sat with a bunch of people from the community, and I realized that somebody in a different phase is paying $400 less a year than what I'm paying. I'm paying almost, and I'm gonna quote, almost as much as one of the houses. I think, and I've always understood it as you get more with numbers, why are we not under one policy? And everybody, the Mirasaur's pay this, the DG's pay this, and there are so many, I called up about it, they tell me because people sue and there's so many claims in your days. That's unfair. That is totally unfair, that I'm paying $400 and the person around the corner from me in the same apples to apples. They're different size units, they cannot be insured at the same. I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that.
Let me address that by talking, and I've talked about this before. The Greens is unusual. Our community is unusual because of the tax laws in Suffolk County. The tax laws in Suffolk County blend the real estate tax rates based upon the blending of types of units in a community. So the sponsor developed the Greens as 5 condo communities rather than one community managed by the HOA. And in doing so, he was able to get a greatly reduced real estate tax assessment for each of our units. I think people here who pay their real estate taxes know that our real estate taxes are quite a bit lower than the others. So now the dilemma to the developer was, I've got these 5 communities blended, okay, but I really have one community. So how am I gonna handle this? So his resolution was that the HOA board would consist of 12 members. 7 of them voted by the entire community and would have voting rights. The remaining 5 would be the president of each of the individual condo communities, and they would not have voting rights. That's how the developer set up the community, to try to make it one community for us who live here, but 5 communities to Suffolk County, so that we would have the favorable real estate rate. So now each of the 5 condos are now responsible for going out and getting their own insurance. And one thing that each condo is responsible for is insuring their buildings, okay? And they go out, but we've made it clear to the insurance industry, we are one community. You have to agree to do all or nothing. So we go out to every year, each of the condo communities, coordinated with the HOA when asked to. We go out and we try to get the best rates we can for each of the condos. But I hope that explains the overall makeup of the Greens and why it is the way it is. Now, if there's any insurance questions, I'll turn it over to Ruth, who heads up our insurance committee.
Let me explain it. I'm a licensed insurance broker, just so you know. Can you hear me, everybody? Okay. Every year, it gets shot as a whole unit. There are different numbers. Condo 1 has 384 units, condo 2 has 290 units, condo 3, et cetera, et cetera. It gets smaller till it gets to condo 5 that has 100 units. Every different model is insured by the building values. So this is how they get their numbers. Insurance right now is very, very high. People have come to me, talking to me about their personal insurance here with auto and with condo insurance, and it's skyrocketing, it's doubling and tripling. I had somebody tell me that their umbrella policy went from $500 to $2,500. This is the climate of the insurance world. They've had disasters all over the country. They don't just worry about New York. They worry about Florida, California, Texas, all the wildfires, everything that's going on. Insurance companies are in the profit-making business. They are not good Samaritans that give away their money. Therefore, they go, and the New York State is highly regulated by the Department of Financial Services. In order for them to get a rate increase, they have to ask permission and give them the reason why they need the rate increase. New York hardly ever says no, unfortunately. But this is why, and you comparing to someone in another condo, if you're in condo 3, you cannot compare condo 1, 2, 4, and 5. It's different, each one has different amounts of insurance, it's the values of all the buildings together.
Ruth, I can answer that, Ruth.
Yeah.
Okay.
You do, sir.
Okay. Let me give you the technical answer to that, because the Budget and Finance Committee looked into this years ago. So Ruth and Bob gave you the right answers. The actual financial reason there's differences is, number one, what it was said before, is based on the mix of the units in the condos. So each condo, for instance, I'll make it up. Condo 1 has 200 villas, 100 condos, 100 townhouses. Condo 4 may have 50 villas, 100 condos, and 50 townhouses, okay? In the value of the buildings is calculated by the insurance company. However, if you go to your offering documents, when you purchased your house, for your condo, there is a factor, a percent factor for the unit based on the size of the unit. So the way it's calculated is, for instance, condo 1, I'm making numbers up, has $1 million of insurance. Based on the mix of the units, you take the factor in the offering document. For a villa, a ranch has 0.18%. A Florenza may have 0.28%. A quad may have 0.12%. A condo may, I'm making these numbers up, but this is the technical answer, are at 0.6%. So those factors are in the offering document, which drives the calculation by condo phase based on the mix of the units. So that's why there's differences in your unit versus another unit, because it's based on the mix, and it's based on the factor that we have to use in the offering document of that condo.
Bill, what about the reserves being different too?
Yep.
Excuse me?
Bill?
Bill, can I have
Bill.
it?
No. Well, and there's also, experience. For instance, condo 5 has had 2 fires in the last 8 years, right? So their insurance, besides the factor, may be higher because of their loss history, where we paid out $1.5 million. So that's another factor that's put in there. But the main driving factor, for the most part, is the factor. And if you go to your offering documents, you'll see it for your condo. That's the explanation why it's different by condo,
Bill?
by unit.
What
And
about the
that's- and-
reserves are different too?
Yeah.
To each
And,
type.
and we're set up that way, as I explained, with 5 separate condos, and that's why you have the differences from condo to condo, is it was set up this way to take advantage of a better real estate tax plan. And so that's why we have 5 separate condos, and that's why you have the differences in the mix for each condo.
There are also,
Okay, I think
There
we
are
answered
also
it.
very few companies that are willing to insure condos our size. When our broker goes to shop, they go to several insurance companies. I'm not gonna name the name, but one of them has said to them repeatedly every year, no, I'll take condo 1 and condo 3, I don't want the others. And we say, no, all or none.
Hang on.
That's part of it.
Thank you, gentlemen, for this. I live at 301 Deer Boulevard and have 3 inquiries. First, is there any way you're going to repay some of the courts? My court has been put a lot of tar. When it got hot, that tar transferred from my car onto my gorgeous driveway. That's number one. My other inquiry is about the parking lot at the clubhouse. There's not enough lights there. When we go out, it's dark. Number 3, is there a camera that photographs the cars that come in to the greens.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Yes, there is.
yes. We record every car that comes in.
Every license plate.
We record every license plate. What kind of,
Clubhouse parking lot.
I'm sorry, there was a clubhouse?
Parking
lot?
Parking lot.
Yeah, clubhouse parking lot.
Lights.
Lights at the clubhouse parking lot, right. We have no control over clubhouse issues. These are issues, the club management has made it clear that they will address issues from their club members. They do not recognize the HOA as representative of their club members. So for those who are concerned about the lighting in the parking lot for the club, I would suggest you start making your complaints to the club manager, that's Tom Baird,
In writing.
okay, to create a file. But he will not address anything that the HOA presents to him as an issue bothering or an issue with his club members. We've been down that road before.
You gotta, Bob, tell them that a club member is a unit owner.
Yeah, every unit owner is a club member automatically. So,
But you did answer my question about repaving.
yep. We're talking about repaving on the road or in the driveway?
The quad.
The roads.
Quad.
The quad.
Quad.
It's in your quad?
Yes.
What unit of it? Frank, we have a program now. They're, excuse me?
We have one that's not a car, it's a cul-de-sac.
It's a cul-de-sac. It's a villa.
No,
It's a cul-de-sac. 301?
is that a cul-de-sac thing, or is that a townhouse?
It's a cul-de-sac.
It's a cul-de-sac, it's a
It's
villa.
a
townhouse.
It's a villa.
A villa.
A villa.
We have not even gotten a chance to get out there and look at it. So
Okay.
she just called it in this morning.
Okay, if we're talking about roadways, okay, if we're talking about roadways, yes, we're repaving all the roads in the community, following the roofing plan, roofing program. Because once we do the paving now, okay, the heavy equipment we're gonna bring in for the roofing project will destroy the roads. So we need to do the roofing project and the painting project, which will go on along with the roofing project. Once we're completed, we will be doing the road project. Right now, the roads are functioning. You could drive around the greens without a problem. Leave the greens and be careful for the potholes you're gonna hit outside the greens. But inside the greens, we're keeping the roads in a working condition. Yes, there's squigglies, we keep filling them in, but our plan is, and you'll see it in the budget report that's gonna be coming up at the, when is that meeting gonna be, when you're gonna present the new budget?
It's in the budget every year.
Yeah, we're gonna present the
It's
community.
after roofing.
It was in the last presentation on the budget, it's gonna be the next, after the roofing and the heavy equipment is gone,
Painting.
we will be repaving the roads. And that's what the monies that we have been putting into our reserve accounts is for. There's another question.
I have three questions. My first question is, why at Constable Yard?
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Stand up,
Why,
baby.
I live on Savoy Drive, and my shutters look so sad, and I have for a long time. Why haven't new shutters been put in all these years?
New shutters were put.
Where does she live?
New shutters were put in, they keep fading. We did it, how many years ago, Steve?
4 years ago.
No, we put in new shutter, but not everywhere.
That's it, yeah, all the buildings got new shutters.
Everything facing north.
Everything facing north did anyway.
And number two, I want to know if there are any rules about people who live there constantly using the visitors' spots. I have one or two people that live across the street from me that alternate taking the visitors' spot near me. Never is any car permitted to park on the visitor's spot. As one leaves, the other one takes it. And I want to know what can be done about that. They live across the street, they have theirs.
You know, there's new rules, house rules have been passed and will be distributed to the community that addresses two abuses. One is the abuse of visitors' parking spots, and the other one is the abuse of handicap parking spots. We are addressing those two abuses, and we understand your concern, and we will be addressing it. And the house rules that we voted on address them, and we'll be issuing them, and there'll be fines associated with these abuses.
And number three, the front of my apartment looks terrible. I have called the man that's in charge of the community since May, all these months, and he's never shown to give me a plan or approximate cost.
We didn't hear what you said looks terrible.
I'm sorry, it was one of our landscapers. Since May, it still looks terrible, and I don't know who else to call.
What is terrible?
You gotta call the office, you can't call the landscaper.
Our landscaping. No, this is personal landscaping.
Personal landscaping? Or
Personal
are you talking
landscaping.
about community landscaping?
Personal landscaping.
Oh, personal landscaping, that's, you gotta deal with the landscape that you invited.
No. So.
Is that neighbors?
I'm sorry, I can hardly get the question. You have any problem with the landscape for your unit?
Yes.
Personal.
I don't know if he saw my unit, but he's the landscaper that was given to me to, help me with my property.
I'm missing it.
She wants private landscaping done in front of her home.
Harry, she hired someone privately from the community in
Right.
May to come and do her front lawn. They push that and push it in, send it to you. Yes, he has done nothing since May. So she wants to know what could be done. So you have to use it.
Did we approve it?
The landscape, not the community that she hired.
I will take care of that tomorrow morning when I meet with the landscapers. Barbara, do me a favor?
Yeah.
Could you let me know exactly what unit number? I know the house she's talking about, but I don't know
And
what
I'll
unit.
let you know which one.
I'm sorry? Send me the unit number, please. All right, I'll take it up with the landscaper tomorrow morning.
That's not my responsibility.
That's not a Joey.
Part of the
That's not our
problem is
responsibility.
the sprinkler systems cannot
I
handle
said,
new,
no.
planting in the heat of the summer. They usually plant in June, the latest, and then again in September. Between July and August, they do not plant because it's not necessarily care.
Okay.
Anything else?
We have one over here.
Hi, my name is David Alshore, with 275 L Tessa. First, I want to applaud all of you as volunteers tonight. I know you put up with a lot of stuff for everybody sitting here and everybody else in the community. It's not an easy job, and I'm glad you're doing it, not me. Secondly, tomorrow is my anniversary. It's the anniversary 17 months ago when I first called the HOA and complained that my neighbor planted trees that blocked my view of the golf course. And 17 months later, those trees are still there. So I'm wondering if this is standard operating procedure or is this something very unusual? Because I've made numerous calls, I've been in touch with Harry, I know I've been doing a lot of stuff, and I apologize, Harry, because I don't mean to harass anybody. But I was told today, thankfully, that Frank said at a meeting that you had today, he's going to take care of it next week. I just need to understand better what taking care of it means, so that I don't have an 18th anniversary.
The big problem that we've had is that you went ahead and left the note on her door, which created harassment from her standpoint. But we are in the process, as I told you on the phone, of taking care of it next week, or you'll have have to wait to find the results. Frank is gonna be handling it with her son. She's now turned it over to her son, who I believe is a lawyer. So now it's becoming a little bit, more of a problem than it was before. Please, I ask you, once again, to relax, and I know it's cost you money, but you can't sell the unit. I've heard that from you time and time again. Please, wait a week, and let's see what we can do.
Okay, can I have it? Okay. Now, I want to make a general statement. People have moved to the Greens from their own homes. Some of them had 1 acre, half acre, 2 acres, put fences around their community, moved to the Greens, and don't understand why they can't put a fence around their properties here. The Greens, there are many, many different condo communities on Long Island and in Florida and the rest of the country. Each one of them has different rules and a different lifestyle. At the Greens, we are senior citizens community that's very socially interactive. There are no fences permitted at the Greens. Other communities are permitted, condo communities permit fences around their properties. Other condo communities, the homeowner is responsible for mowing his own lawn and replacing his roof. That's not the Greens. Okay. Now, if a person wants to put in planting or wants to make some sort of modification outside their home, they have to go through the A&A committee. Okay, and one of the things the A&A committee will look at is, does it affect the look of the Greens? And number 2, does it impact their neighbor? Now, if it impacts their neighbor, one of the things the A&A committee is to check with the neighbor, do you have a problem if this person installs this on their property? And if the neighbor says, I have a problem, then the addition is not approved. Now, I don't know the history of this particular incident, but I did go and I looked at the properties. When I was first told of it, I guess it must have been about 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, I was first told of it. I went and looked at the properties. And the property that planted has a magnificent view of the golf course and the fountains and the ponds and what have you. The plantings do not affect that at all. So in my opinion, the plantings had to do with privacy. That unit wanted privacy from some other unit. Well, that affects other units. So in order for those plantings to have been approved, those other units would have had to have been talked to and to see if they accept it or not. To my understanding, that didn't happen. And to my understanding, those plantings might have been done without approval. So I have directed our property manager to have this resolved adequately to the satisfaction of all by the end of this week. And that's where we stand on that issue.
It's my turn. My name is Hal Rosen. It just so happens I happen to be Harry's co-chairman of the AA committee. And I'd like to start off by saying to everybody here, thank you for pointing out things that have gone awry that you've noticed. But this is a very big property, and therefore it takes a lot of time. We all who work on committees gave up, if we're retired, our full-time jobs a while ago. This is more than a full-time job. The way that we can address a lot of this is if you, when you're walking around and see things, take a picture, send it to the office can get it to us. We meet weekly for the A&A committee, and we can address those right then and there. If you wait to a meeting like this just to point this out, time goes by, things pile up, and nothing gets done. You are our eyes and ears in the community, and we need that. Because without that, we cannot cover this property ourselves. It would be a full-time job plus. And frankly, I don't want another full-time job.
Harry, Art Gordon, 356 Southwest. Harry, I really mentioned this
berm's gonna be thin. But I'd like to know why it's taking a year and a half to trim them, because that seems to be, part of the problem. The berm in front of my house hasn't been cut for 1.5 years. The shrubs in the front were just cut this week, thank you, but it's in the middle of August, which is not a good time to cut.
Franny, you want to respond? This has to do with the scheduling and the trimming. We can't trim everybody at the same time. That's the issue.
So excuse me, that's not the issue at all.
So what we're doing is, this year specifically, we mandated in order, you've heard about us doing the painting of stucco, we've heard us talking about the roof. So we mandated this year to prepare for next year, and moving forward, the contractors to trim back the trees even further than what they normally do. It's taking more time. Now, normally what we do is we start in June, we end in August, and we start in September, and we finish sometime in the beginning of November. So that's the program that's gonna be set up for this year. So, like we got, like last week was a full day of rain. So you would have been done last week instead of, I guess, this week. So I know you keep shaking your head.
That's not the issue.
But I know you're saying that it's actually been done for a year and a half. I don't know if that's the case, maybe you should have brought it up last year. Oh, you did? Okay. Are you talking about the backs, or are you talking about the fronts?
The berm should be cut twice a year. That was always the process. You cut them in the spring and you cut them in the fall.
We cut it in June what we do, we start in June. Because if it started in spring, then the full growth starts in June, then by the time we get to the fall, you have a massive shrub. So there's timing on when we do the shrubs and trim. So we're gonna talk to the landscapers, we started on one end, and we're gonna start the opposite way, starting next spring. So this way you guys who have done last, will be done first, and you're not following us.
One of the things that we did this year, is because we're getting a lot of feedback from homeowners, is they're doing the homes first, then the berms. And they started this time on Madeira, came down to the corner of Altessa, made a right turn, and then came around. I know your house was done probably this week, because last week you got rained out. And the people who live on Portofino and on Madeira are going to be last. And next year, we're going to start coming down from the front gate, down Madeira, Portofino, and up, which is what happened to you last year. But the berms are the last thing to be done. The homes are more important. And I also mentioned that there are 14 big berms that are going to be thinned out this winter. Yes.
On the same subject,
Berm's gonna be cut twice a year or once a year?
Twice a year.
Twice a year. They do it twice a year, so the berms get done last.
on the same subject, when we're talking about the trimmings, why is it always that the beginning gets the end and the end gets the beginning and the middle are never changed? The reason I'm saying this is, we've had June when we all had company coming, we had July when we all had company coming, and now my house has yet to be trimmed, but surprise, I brought in a landscaper and did it myself. It was so embarrassing when my friends came in and they said to me, Alan, what kind of a shit house is this? Pardon my language, I didn't mean to use that word. But something has to be done where the people in the middle between June and August all of a sudden become the middle people.
Well, why don't we start next year? In the middle, and go both ways.
There you go.
And also bringing in your own private, hello?
Yeah, sorry.
Bringing in your own private landscaper without HOA approval is a violation of our contracts with the landscapers. We need to make sure you have insurance, et cetera, and you have to go to the office to bring in a private landscaper. We have no problem with bringing in a private landscaper, as long as we get the necessary insurance and information for further.
Harry, I just want to bring up a point. The bushes have grown over.
I can't hear one word you're saying.
The bushes have grown over the windows. So when we ask the landscapers the other day, because of below the windows, they tell us they can't do it because there's no greenery.
All right, I will tell you something very interesting. This behind my home, by our bedroom, the window, it was up to the roof, up to this, all right? I couldn't stand it. So I said to the landscaper, chop it right down to below the window. He said, you know what it's gonna look like? I said, I really don't care. It will come back. Now, if you want to chop down, we will do it, provided you sign a release that if the thing dies, the shrub dies, it is not our fault and we will not replace it. If you're willing to do that, we will get the landscaper to do it. All right?
Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cut this short, and I see there's a hand up, is there anybody else who wants to speak?
Seems like.
Okay, hold on, excuse me, 1 minute, please. Anybody else besides the current speaker wants to speak? So, okay, this is the last speaker.
It seems like there's a lot of problems with the landscaping, and I want to tell you my problem. I had, poison ivy, they just left it.
Danielle, tell us.
Personally, on the side of my house, I look out, and my neighbor's bushes are all dead. They have done nothing about it. When I moved in 2.5 years ago, I waited a year and a half for a bush that was owed to me, and Harry knows that. A year and a half. I think that's excessive. And also, I'm alone now. My husband passed, and I have these landscapers coming to my windows and looking in. And I think this is terrible. And I told Marie, and told her numerous times, because it's very threatening to me. So I think it's time to get a new landscape.
Okay, our property manager said he will get involved and we'll get to it. It's the first I'm hearing, this is property manager, he will look into it. Okay, listen, I wanna thank you all for coming. I wanna even those who are still working and managed to get out. If you're still working, again, you're either a CPA or a lawyer, right? You're a judge? Okay.
Then you can leave early.
All right, well, thank you all for coming, and we appreciate the feedback. Thank you. Excuse me, what's your name? Wow.
Sorry?
Eric Sachs.
Eric.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
So you're a legislator at one time.
Right.
Really?
Met him.